by a man of God named Mickey Robinson. You're going to be absolutely amazed when you hear this story, because he was in a plane crash that literally destroyed him. In fact, it killed him. And yet he's alive to tell the tale.
Out of his sockets, dragged me away from the plane and slapped the fire out. It kept reigniting, and then he tried to go back for the pilot, and he couldn't. He was burned alive. Well, they rushed me off to the hospital. Obviously, it was horrible, and they rushed me off to the hospital and saw that I sustained very serious injuries. I had a brain injury. I had burns over a large portion of my body. I had to find out my eye was blind, my right eye was blind, and tremendous cuts, and this shock of that crash. They told my family I was going to die. They told my sister to come that day because I was not going to be there in the afternoon. I had an experience I had never heard about. Never heard anything like this. As I was laying there in that condition, just racked with pain and discomfort in every way possible, suddenly my inner man, the real me, my spirit, sat up out of my body, and I could feel my legs go through the springs of the bed.
Wow.
And my spirit came out of my body as if you would take a glove off your hand. And instantly I was in a spiritual world. Instantaneously I knew this was the real world. And this man that I was seeing was the real me.
Now, when that happened, were you aware of any pain still? Or
no, I was totally
completely separated from the pain and the carcass?
Completely, no. And I didn't even remember turning around and looking. I mean, I was transferred immediately into a spiritual dimension. And everything about the spirit world is more real than this world. The colors are brighter. The edges of everything are sharper. The emotions are just enhanced. They are clear. And instantaneously, the thing that really struck me the most was there was a complete absence of the awareness of time. Everything in this world is relative to time. You got up this morning, you'll go to bed at night. Something is old, something is new, it will get old. Something is born, it will die. Everything in this plane, in the physical plane, in the natural plane, is relative to time. But everything in the spiritual plane is relative to eternity. So what had been natural to be aware of time was totally gone. And I was totally aware of eternity. It is shocking. It is stunning to be conscious and to know what eternity is. Also, it's like you just know that you know that you know. It's like having a revelation constantly. And it was incredible. And I knew I was traveling. I could feel that I was traveling. And as I looked ahead, there was this pure white light. It was whiter than the whitest snow and brighter than 10,000 suns, and yet I could look right at it, and it was compelling. And it was like I was being towed. I was being towed like a tractor being. And as I was looking, I could feel this anticipation. But then simultaneously that, on my right side, I could feel something, and I looked, and there was this blackness sweeping. Now this blackness, as I looked at it, instantly I was aware of its complete nature. It was eternal, like I was experiencing eternity. It was without any matter. It was without any life. It was void, and it was forever non-negotiable, cut off from the source of all life. And the more that I looked at it, the faster it would sweep, and the more that occurred, the more intense the feeling of the nature of being cut off and sealed forever and separated. It is horrific. Because you wouldn't want the worst person. You wouldn't want Adolf Hitler, bin Laden, Saddam. You wouldn't want any human being to ever go in there. It was so horrible. It was like you're in a room and you close the door, a dark room, and there's a little space between the door and the door jamb. It wasn't a doorway. This was a real place that I was seeing and that I was feeling. And as it was closing, it was eclipsing, and now I'm standing on the very edge, the precipice of eternal separation. And I scream out of my spirit, I'm sorry, I want to live. Give me another chance. And just before that was to close, I was standing in the presence of Almighty God. Whoa. And instantly I knew I would never die for eternity. And that's mercy. It's unbelievable. Wow. And instantly I knew that this being who was off on this side of me, who I didn't see, but I was standing in this river of golden radiation. It looked like a moving river of golden light. And this river went that way, it went that way, it was underneath me, it was going right through me. And this river was alive. I don't know how to describe it, except that this
called the river of life.
This river was alive, and it's going right through me, and I'm more alive than anybody can imagine. I mean, this is the height of the experience of life. It filled up with life, and somehow I knew this being was going to take care of me for eternity. I didn't see any angels in heaven. I didn't see any people who had gone before me. This was the max. So I was so filled with just the love and all of God's majesty, all of His authority, all of His love, everything was just flowing through me. I was like vibrating like a tuning fork, the very essence of God's nature.